Hey, everybody, welcome back to Too Many Men. My name is Alison Lucan, and I am delighted to be with someone who I don't think gets enough credit for the beastie mode this person goes for fitness and overall health. And like every once in a while, she gives us a glimpse, and I'm like, damn, girl, like you're like master of all things hockey, master of all things WNBA, crushing it on the Substack, and rocking the bod. Sara Sivian,
Oh,
how the hell are you?
you always know how to make me blush. It's so funny you bring that up because my boyfriend's out of town visiting his family, and it's like maybe for the first time there's too few men. I'm like, can I look at a chicken breast? I'm like eating my like girl dinners. I'm going to bed late. It's like he really keeps me in line. So he shout out to him for giving me a full 8 hours, but I can do it by myself. I'll figure it out. And thank you for saying that. Yes, I'm on a bulk, but I need to eat more protein, and men love doing that. Whatever, I'm good. How are you?
I did that once where I had to eat like 5 times a day and like so much. And I was like, I was eating too much food. I was like so annoyed.
It's like I don't feel good.
I just stop. My kingdom for a pancake. All I wanted was a pancake.
Like, is that too much for a girl to ask?
And then, of course, we have the most compassionate, the most supportive, and still ever brilliant Shayna Goldman. Shayna, say hi.
Hi.
Are we allowed to ask how Zuki's fundraiser went?
It's good. It's still going. He runs his 5K on Saturday. So Rich is gonna set up the donation to that. And I'm excited that it's not the organization Zuki was adopted from. They were not the best organization because we had some issues early on and we needed some help and they were very useless. But this is where we got Mika and Meadow from, and they're in St. Lucia, and they rescue dogs and they do all of this stuff to save them. Like they find dogs that are injured and they put in all of this work to take care of them. And you can tell like I play videos. They had like Instagram stories of all their litters. So I play Mika hers all the time and she hears their voices and like literally is so excited and wags her tail at them. Like, so I feel like that's like a good omen. So that's who we're supporting with the fundraiser, and it's gonna help Potcakes, which is what Zuki was.
You play the video for the
Oh
can't
my
even
God, so I have a 9-minute Instagram story that I recorded and I play it for her and she howls to it. It's like one of the few
Oh
things
my
she
God.
fully howls to, and she like last night was all moody and sat down and was hitting like she hits your hits your paw to play stuff on your phone. So I was like playing her their Instagram stories like daily.
That is too cute. That is too cute.
Rich is kind of the man of the year, not only for doing this, and it's such a great thing, but also for not doing a turkey trot, unless he is,
No,
but
that's what he's
not
doing.
making you participate in that.
No, it's
Getting
a
it
turkey
out.
trot, but I've retired from running. He just like decided one day he was gonna start running. Like the man hates it and he sprints his 5Ks because he wants to get done with it. Like my best friend ran like cross country, college level, all of this shit and can't keep up with him because he sprints like a psychopath. So that's what he's doing.
Hilarious. I see his like Stravas sometimes on the Instagram stories. I'm like, this guy could be in the Olympics.
Yeah. Except I keep joking like you're gonna do a 10K and he's like, I'd rather die. So
Did you see the It's the Power of Cats interview with Cam York?
no.
Yes.
Okay, I'll send it to you. If you haven't seen it, here, I'm going to send it to you right now. And then you'll be all the better for it. It's amazing. You have to watch it after the show, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's so cute. He says it's the power of cats that's fueling his game.
See, he
He
has the
adopted what,
power.
three of them?
See,
He adopted 3 cats, I think.
yeah,
I
and then
love
like a
that.
Russian, and then there was like a few other
Yeah,
like
it was a little
luxury
sketch
brands.
as he was outlining it. I'm like, are you like doing mail order cats? Like,
Oh my God. No, we have the power of dogs. The
Yes.
power of dogs who like sweaty people. Like that's the vibe here.
Love it.
well, we will keep the donation link in the show notes for one more week if you at all feel inspired or compelled to show thanks for how awesome all pets are to us by supporting Rich's apparently self-torture adventure of a
Yeah.
5K this weekend. But let's move on into it. Sara, what time is it?
It's time for bit o' news.
Can I hijack
Yes.
this? Can I hijack this, please? because I know you're not
Yes.
going to talk about yourself, Allison. We have a big bit of news that we need to talk about before any of the men get the attention. Allison, would you like to share the news or shall we?
Well, I am going to be part of the PWHL broadcasting team this season. So
Yay! Are you excited? Are you
I'm
pumped?
excited. I'm nervous because I covered college hockey back when I was with the Athletic, college women's hockey, I should be more specific, and the men, but I love covering the women the most. And I have remained a fan, but want to do justice to all of these incredible athletes. So I am cramming things into my brain at a really rapid pace, but I'm very honored and very excited. And there are so many people who are so good at this. So bear with me as I get my legs underneath me.
Allison, it's in the best hands with you because
Mhm.
nobody prepares harder. You know what I mean? And like, it's like not only do you do that, but you know exactly what kind of information to extract that's one, new, but also two, telling of the games that you're watching and putting things in context. And three, it's like giving the people what they want and they didn't even know they needed. So
Yep.
I'm
It
excited to watch.
And
We'll
you're
see.
right. Like, that's the thing. Like, I know everyone thinks, like, oh, she does numbers, right? It's like if you do anything data related, like, that's what sticks with you. And it's like, that is a big part of your work, but like, it's the overall storytelling. So it's really exciting you get to do it in a different way. Like, so how can the people find this, listen to this, your capacity? Like, we need details.
Well, in Seattle, which is where I will be doing the vast majority of the games I can do, it's on Fox 13. It's also going to be on the league's YouTube channel. And if you go to the PWHL, you can see the full schedule for the season and all of the broadcast and sharing and streaming partners wherever you are. How's that?
It's amazing. You know, the people, I don't know if they remember where you got your sports broadcasting start. And it was calling a
Flip
fucking
cup.
flip cup tournament to now doing this.
Wow.
What a rising star.
I just remember chirping Pete Blackburn because the Bruins were cheaters that year and saying he was.
That was so much fun, honestly. I
It
cannot believe
really
we pulled
was.
that off.
We
Wasn't
need
that much
another global
fun?
pandemic.
Oh,
Let's bring it
yes.
back.
I was gonna say, was it fun or were we just desperate for any
Oh
kind?
my God, we were desperate for anything.
But
I'll
we did.
never forget Skillsy, like in his backyard with a cowboy hat on. That was just was a weird time in our lives, but the worst of times, the decent of
Who
times.
won? Emily Kaplan. Emily Kaplan was in the final.
Johnny Lazarus won, I
That's
Of
right.
think.
course he did.
Emily crushed
Emily was
it.
in the
Emily was
final.
the,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's that
Yeah.
college background or Penn State vibes, right?
we are.
Right. Let's move on. Thank you. I'm excited, and I hope that I can, like I said, do it justice. Hope,
You
hope,
will.
hope, hope, hope.
We will.
All right. Well, in less exciting news, apparently they need to change the name of the league to the National Broken League. But maybe that's not even accurate because not only are people broken, but people are getting broken in really bizarre ways. It started out with rumors of a knife, and now apparently it's a glass. But Jack Hughes was wonderfully at a place called the Chicago Cut. And
Oh,
yes, and somehow, and sticks taps to friend of the pod, Greg Wyshynski, who apparently has gone and looked, and like Devils fans are like spewing hate on their Yelp reviews, which like, come on, people. Like the restaurant did not want this or enable this in any way. But long story longer, Jack Hughes has cut his hand. Apparently, now are hearing on a glass in a quote unquote freak accident, and has had surgery and is out 6 to 8 weeks. The first checkup will be at 6 weeks. Obviously, this is a blow to the team on the ice. But Sara, what do you make of Glassgate 2025?
oh my God. I feel so bad for him, honestly. Like we're laughing about it, but I really do feel horrible. It's like he literally cannot catch a break when it comes to injuries.
Well,
And
he
then
caught
something
a
like
break.
this. Oh no. I mean, obviously, gotta be careful out there, kid. I don't know. Like, keep your head on a swivel.
Shayna, any thoughts?
I mean, I feel like between this and the rest of the news we'll get to, I feel like if I'm Uber Eats or DoorDash, I am like signing these guys to a sponsorship deal ASAP. Like, don't leave your home. Just here, we'll bring it to you and keep it safe. It's
We'll
terrible
cook it
luck.
too.
Well,
Yeah,
Victor
we'll
Ross
have
cut his
cooking.
hand in his own home on a sweet potato and was never the same. So
I
you
mean,
can't
like,
do anything.
it's amazing stuff doesn't happen more often. Like you think about like how many times maybe like you bash your arm into a wall walking or you burn yourself cooking or cut yourself, like shit happens, but for it to be this bad, it's just like it's terrible luck. And now to see people think the devils are cursed because it's I mean, listen, I will give everyone credit for creativity. It was a boring season. We needed something to go off the rails. And now everyone is just like, okay, let's just go absolutely batshit. Like, all right.
Goblin mode, if you will.
And obviously a big loss for the Devils on the ice as well. I mean, this is a kind of important player to them.
Yeah, it's Dawson Mercer season. And he
Mercy.
And the crowd goes mild.
well, like he was so good to start this year, and I was like, it's nice to see him back on track because I feel like he's like the perfect player for the Devils. He's so different from like Heishier and Hughes and brings something totally different. But like his first two games at center were not good, but it's also huge. Like he has not played center when he was down on the third line last 2 years. They still had him on the wing, so it's like he stepped up for Jack Hughes as a rookie, but that's a long time ago now. It feels like, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they needed a 3C anyway, so I would get shopping. 'Tis the
Now
season.
let's get chopping, but not on the cutting board.
Well, Shayna alluded to this, but then not to let one team have all the fun. A few days later, after the Jack Hughes news sort of sorted itself out, it was announced that Florida Panthers forward Eetu Luosterainen is out week to week after being burned in a barbecue accident in his backyard. So really, we need food delivered to you because you shouldn't even be trying to cook it at home. Sara, what do you make of this one? And in particular, because the Panthers are dealing with a lot more injuries already than maybe even New Jersey had been.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the timing. It's ridiculous. It's a phenomenon. And like, oh my, I guess when it rains, it pours. When you're cutting your hand, everybody's cutting their hand or burning themselves. But yeah, I am kind of surprised it doesn't happen more because this is a relatively like common occurrence when you're in the kitchen. I guess maybe start using these podcast deals where you're getting like, what is it? What's the thing that I'm not going to remember the name of the delivery service, but we got fresh foods on delivery. So maybe think about
Oh,
that.
Hello Fresh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You still have to cook though.
Yeah,
Now you
that
just
those
get
you
the
still
Oh,
do.
what?
ingredients.
All
They're
right,
like meal prep.
boo. I have no ideas. Just burn all your hands as quick as you can and recover fast.
Oven mitts. We're getting sponsorships for like oven mitts, you know, like the annoying silicone
Yeah.
ones. I don't
Oh
like
my
those at all.
God. Yeah.
It's like no one use an oven, no one use a cast iron. I feel like that is the easiest way to burn yourself in the kitchen. Don't
Hmm.
touch your barbecues. Maybe can you air fry safely? I don't know. You could still burn your hand on that.
We need the Betty. No, what's the thing? The
Oh, the easy bake oven.
yeah, easy bake
Oh
oven.
my God. Those are the best. Those
I
I
know, I love them so much. And I wasn't allowed to have one, so I always had to go to my friend's house to use them, but I loved them.
I that was one of the toys like I remember like I actually did have most of the stuff it's like, oh, here's this cool brand name thing. Like, we're not getting it then.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
happening. We
Exactly.
got toys that my parents were like, hey, we got a Nintendo because we want to play it. So you guys can also play it, but also move the fuck out of the way for us. So the Easy Bake Oven was one of the few gems. And it's like the food was definitely poison, but I I feel like okay, can I just go conspiracy theorist mode?
Please.
I think we as a society have gone too
Oh,
far
okay.
into clean. And I'm someone like I eat healthy and I like clean makeup and all of that. So it's like less things. But I
You
also
want more
think
dirt.
I feel like that's why we as a society are much different than like the 16-year-olds today. Like we're tougher
Oh
and we
my
have thicker
God.
skin because we ate shit out of an easy bake oven that is 100% poison. Like,
Oh, 1,000%.
but it made you stronger when you were younger, you
Yes,
know? It's
totally.
very different from having a 10-step beauty routine at 10 years old. Like you needed the trash in your skin because now you can use
Yes.
anything.
No, it's we were building antibodies back then that the 10-step skincare routines of my 8-year-old niece would just shake her head at.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I can't. It's too much. I need easy bake ovens.
My skincare routine now isn't 10 steps.
No, I
No.
lucky to take my makeup off to this day.
I know
Literally.
I'm so bad with like I like the mascara that you just like get your finger right and you can just push it off because otherwise it's like I wasn't doing
What?
it. The tubing mascara, like when it's wet, you can just take it off by
Oh
literally
yeah.
going like this and you push it down. It's like it's off your eyelash.
Well, we're giving the people what they want, Shayna.
Yeah, my
Um,
my makeup expertise.
how shall the Florida Panthers get their nutrition? Because apparently they should not. We make fun of these boys because they come out of, billet. They don't know how to take care of themselves, and now they try and take care of themselves, and they're not playing hockey for weeks on end.
Everyone's taking a home ec class in the year 2025. Bring it back.
But what do you make of this for the Panthers? In all seriousness,
Sarah, go. You have a
I
thought.
don't make it like I it's just already a shame. Is it a shame? I actually don't care if they succeed, but it's just like I they were really injured in every specific way. It's like you got the penalty kill, the power play, Barkov on both, and then it's like because you got Kachuk and Kulikov, and I don't know. Like I guess if I'm looking at it and I'm the coach, I'm like, let's get this all out of the way right now, and then everybody can come back and like be good again. I think that's kind of what they're going for right now. So who cares? I mean, I care for his health, but whatever.
Shayna.
It's like a new challenge. I feel like every year we're like, okay, it doesn't matter. Let the Panthers get to the playoffs and they'll work their magic. And that's been the case for the last 3 years. They know when to like turn it on. But it's like, okay, can you flip a switch in the regular season? Like we come out of the Olympic break, like, and now I forget who reported, I'm sorry, but like Matthew Tkachuk could be back as soon as like the Winter Classic. So I wonder if they come out fresh from the Olympic break, could it be like that's your pedal to the metal time for the Panthers and it's a different challenge and we can see that if they're healthier? Like I would be curious about it. I think it'll make the Atlantic more interesting if that's the case, but it's just it's terrible luck because I feel like he was finally Luce Ryan was producing really well with Lundell and Marchand. It felt like they were kind of figuring things out to deal with some underperformances like Sam Bennett. So now you're just like you're down another player. It's a true test of like next man up mentality. But hey, the Atlantic's open if anybody the Leafs want to like pick up the pace.
They refuse. They refuse.
They
But
leave
they
that option
won.
on the table.
This is
Ooh.
the one thing that's not affecting the Leafs.
This is so true. All right. We have one injury that is actually a hockey injury, though a really nasty one. If you didn't see it, Charlie McAvoy, who seems to now be going through it at least one major time every year, took a puck to the face. And it was reported yesterday. We are recording on Thursday. It was reported yesterday that he has had surgery and there is no timeline for his return. Sara, obviously in your backyard, impact to the team. And then also, I mean, do we need to wrap him in protective bubble wrap going forward?
I know. I feel so bad because he plays his heart out. He's an interesting player where he's really big, but he's not necessarily like he's fast enough. I don't know. He's just like such an important part of that team, and he's just had so much bad injury luck where it's not like he's injury prone because it's all different injuries, and it's like you look at the plays that have the injuries, and it's literally like the his face or like what like upper body where like you can tell he just was playing really hard and it's a result of it. So it really sucks. But yeah, face surgeries are usually a really long timeline, especially if it's like the jaw area. I don't know exactly what the specifics are, but it's not looking like he's going to be back for a minute. So we'll see how this impacts this team. I mean, it's like this team has been such a hard team to get a read on, like every other team in the freaking league except the Avs this season. It's just like they lost 6 in a row. They win 7 in a row. Swayman looks pretty good. Geeky obviously good. Pasternak and the fourth line is holding them down. But like, how is this is going to tell? Like, we're going to see if this team can actually like be resilient. I guess.
I didn't even realize you were wearing a Bruins. Is that a Lulu? Is that scuba?
Yes. Thank you once again to Fanatics. They send me my entire wardrobe of various teams across sports and leagues.
Nice.
And they're on the way with an NFL fleece. So we'll see what's
Oh,
happening
Hell
there.
yeah.
You can drop Shayna and my address to them too.
I
We're happy
will.
to
Yeah.
I
accept
will.
them.
I won't talk as much shit about them if they send me stuff. You can buy me.
Well,
You
I
can buy
never
me off.
stopped, so I don't think you have to.
Shayna, what do you make of the McAvoy injury?
It's terrible luck. I feel like his luck over the last like year and a half. Let's get this man some sage because it sucks because it's like you look at Four Nations, he gets a shoulder injury and you look at how it
Right.
spirals out of control, and then here it's like, okay, his jaw is injured, and then even that it like spirals more like, okay, it's more serious than I think anyone realized originally. Like you would just think, okay, maybe they'll fix his teeth up later, he'll be back with a bubble. So all the best to him because that sucks. And it sucks for the Bruins too, in that he's been playing really good. I feel like their core players are dragging them further than they should go right now. And now it's like that reality check and reminder of like, okay, depending on his timeline, maybe now you remember like what the process was this whole time. Like, are you going to retool for another year to reload for next year, especially if he's not going to be in the lineup? But it's just unfortunate because like to me, he's such an interesting player. I feel like we all get so pumped by the Quinn Hugheses and Cale Makars of the world, and rightfully so, right? Like they are incredible to watch. But to me, like I still like that throwbacky vibe. And at his best, he can be this like top 10 throwbacky shutdown defenseman. I think that's really interesting to still have in this league as we're all staring at like what Makar does on a nightly basis. So it would be nice to see him have a healthy year. But no, it's freak stuff and truly freak injuries every time. And it's just awful for him.
Well, we hope that all three of our broken little men return to full health because this is craziness. Let's move on to hockey men who are staying where they are and are currently seemingly healthy. A couple extensions, and I'm going to share them both and we can talk about them. But I think the bigger thing that's interesting to me is the cap has gone up, as we all obviously know. It's going to continue to go up. And we're seeing this coming off season's free agent class just dwindle down by the day. And the ramifications for how teams are going to try and improve going forward seems to be a really interesting thought exercise. So we know that Adam Lowry extends for 5 years at $5 million per, and Adrian Kempe, who was perhaps perceived at least recently as the potential biggest free agent coming this offseason, is going to stay in LA. He signs 8 times 10.65. Sara, when you look at these extensions, but also the implications for the market going forward, what are you thinking about how teams can improve in the coming seasons outside of the draft?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, first of all, like to not answer it, I think it's fascinating, or is it? But that I don't know. Sorry, lack of sleep without my 8-hour warrior here. Miss you, Nate. Okay. I think the 8-year max, the last opportunity to grab on that is why we're seeing so many in-house signings right now. And
Great
it's gonna
point.
change. It's gonna like, and it's also like the back and forth of like the NHL hates change on all sides. Like that's the thing agents, agencies, players, and teams can agree with. So it's where they're all kind of like, all right, let's look around and see who bites first and like what's going to happen with this higher cap ceiling. So that's why we're seeing everybody play it safe. And it's all like these easiest, like slam dunk contracts you could ever imagine because for once, like everyone's benefiting together. But also, what was the question again? I mean, it's time to answer it.
Just think so. You're answering it. Just the contracts themselves, and then the impact on how teams get better.
Yeah, if you were already good, great news for you. You're going to stay good. If you were bad, you're kind of shit out of luck. Like the Sabres, it's a textbook of like, maybe they were actually trying, but it was 3 years too late and they had the opportunity to try 3 years ago. And you're seeing, I guess, the only team that improved with, you got to get creative. You got to, I don't know, like pick up your damn phone. Obviously, trade market, that's going to be fascinating to see. I have no idea how it's going to go. And we love to say every single year, oh my God, this is going to be the blockbuster year. And then it's not. So I would think, based on the context of teams, every team is mid needing to do something. You'd think teams are going to make moves, but you never know.
Yeah, Shayna, I was going to say exactly what Sara just said, that, we were so told that this past offseason was going to be the summer of the trade and everyone was going to get better. And it seems like maybe we should start expecting more pure hockey trades, but maybe the price goes up. What do you make of how deals are going down, is the free agent market this offseason truly as sparse as people are saying?
Yeah, it 100% is. And it's like it leads to the middle class getting overpaid every time. And it's always interesting how people are more willing to accept that than say a star player get overpaid. I don't think Kempe is overpaid. I think the later years of the contract are probably going to suck, but that it doesn't matter for the Kings. That's not their focus and it shouldn't be. And I think when you're in this situation, you see the market dwindling, you have to pay your own players, even if it's a slight overpayment, like a Kyle Connor got, right? Like that's that's the reality of it because the best way to get a star player is through the draft. Like I went through this with this year's player tiers, went through the 150, how every team got their player, current player, how they made it to their current team. 91 players were through the draft. A lot of them were first round picks. 40 players of the 150 was through the trade. And the trades count like Mitch Marner, whose rights were traded. I counted that. Only 14 players of the top 150 are signed through free agency this year.
That's
Like
crazy.
and that number's going to go down. It's just a reality of it. Now, are you going to get a tier one guy via trade? Probably not, unless Quinn Hughes gets traded. But you look at the players who were actually traded, and it's like Matthew Tkachuk, Jack Eichel, Ranson, and Marner, Fox, Reinhardt, Suzuki. Like you can get high end talent through trades. So now teams are going to have to get way more creative with that. And like you said, the hockey deals I think are going to be important here because the retention rules are different. You have to have
Right,
the
right,
space
right, right,
between the
right.
double retention now. So in theory, that should suppress trades, but I think teams are going to have to find ways around that. And since everyone has cap space, but it's going to be interesting to see once we start seeing teams fall out of things and which teams are like the Bruins or say the Flyers are going to be like, well, we might be in the playoff picture, but we know we have a long-term vision. The Islanders fit into that too. But how many teams are going to be like, screw it, we're here, why not, go for it a little bit and have some fun with it instead of trading off players? Or are teams now going to wait till the very last second to decide they're open for business because they're so close to it? Like, I love the idea of an early trade because it gives you the chance to see how a player fits, whether they do or don't, what you still need. I think the Olympics is going to screw with that too. So it's going to be that much harder to get better and to get that star talent. So you got to hold on to your own guys and you have to
Yeah,
find a way to be
guys.
creative. Like, what are we doing? I don't know. This league suppresses fun, but like, I don't have an issue with free agency not being it because, like, when players make it to free agency, like, I think the system is just so fucked
Yeah.
in the first place. But it's going to be a lot harder to get better now.
It's fascinating. It's really, 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 really interesting. All right, let's move on. We have some fashion news to break down, Sarah Sivian. I always start with you first on these delightful items. And that is that the Winter Classic jerseys have been released for the Rangers and the Panthers. The Rangers, this is per Greg Wyshynski's reporting, says, quote, a sequel to their centennial jersey with a cool retro Big Apple patch, and Florida bringing back the Leaping Panther with a retro style. And there's a little rat on the hem. Sarah, do we like these?
Yes. Okay. Fanatics, this is what I want. So I I feel like the Panthers have never once fumbled an opportunity to have a good jersey. They are always bringing the jerseys. Even the Rangers did good. Like, I don't expect much from them when it comes to stuff, but I think when it comes to the throwback theme, teams have a like knack for nailing it, and they really did. I love. I mean, I'm always gonna love the '90s Panthers look. It's iconic for so many reasons. You can't go wrong. And I kind of like the little details in both of the uniforms. So good for them. God, good for them. They did it.
And Shayna, you are also a fashion icon. Do you like these? And are they almost as good as the best jerseys of all time, which were, of course, the Seattle Kraken outdoor
Oh my
jerseys?
God, I love those jerseys. And they were so good in Vegas. It was so underwhelming that year. I like them both. I think I think for the Stadium Series and the Winter Classic, you generally have a different vibe as you should, right? I think sometimes the outdoor jerseys, especially for Stadium Series, have gotten so simple because the idea is like big logos, big numbers, make it more readable. And I understand and agree with all that, but I think I don't want to see the league get away from the charm of Winter Classic fashion, right? Like I feel like that has been something that generally is a good thing. The Panthers, I think nailed it. The Leaping Panther, I love it. Bring it back. And even like this stripes, is it busy? Yes, but does it give me from the pant pattern, the coloring to the striping pattern, I get that vintage look. Like if you look at pictures from like the 1920s and 30s, you're gonna see those like striped outfits. So I like that because it still feels fresh and Florida-y and like their own identity with that vibe that they obviously don't have because they haven't been around long enough. The Rangers, I like that they went with the cream again. I think that is what they did for their last Winter Classic as well. And I like for the Stadium Series, they've used white. So I like that like little detail. The Centennial Blue makes a lot of sense. It's simple, but I think it works here. I think it goes with their overall vibe. My only nitpick, and this is just me nitpicking, I don't like how on some of these jerseys we're not seeing or the pants, the stripes go all the way around. Like the hem of the pants on the Rangers, the stripe only goes through the front. Like
I hate that.
I don't
It
understand
looks
that.
cheap.
Yeah.
It's been
Yes.
looking cheap recently. So
Yes.
Yeah.
sorry guys. No,
Yes.
no hate.
No,
Yes.
I'll do the hate. You know what though? My one thing is, and I don't know if there was the room for it here because especially like the Panthers look is busy. I really liked how Columbus and Detroit, I felt like with the last Stadium Series got more creative with the helmets. I think Detroit just knocked that one out of the park. So I'd like to see more outdoor games get creative with the helmets.
Yes. 1,000%. Yes. All right. We like the Winter Classic jerseys. We're on board. These were not just a money grab, but please complete your stripes, people. In terms of more things that people will be wearing, here's something that's going to be mandated to be worn, and that is at the Olympics. All players will be wearing neck guards. We've started to talk about this more and more in the past 2 seasons. We're seeing it more and more in the NHL. Sara, I have no problem with this. I just want to make sure that they continue to improve the technology. And like sometimes the guys have them so low. I'm like, are we really helping ourselves here? Like I remember Yanni Gord had to work with the equipment staff for forever to find the right way to get it to fit. So it actually stayed, but didn't like mess up his equipment and how he wanted to feel on the ice. But Sara, do you like this rule coming in?
Yeah, I think that's a positive for everyone. It literally does not affect any facet of the game, and everyone just like needs to start getting used to it. So I like that for events like this. It's kind of the standard.
Shayna?
Yeah, I think it's a good way for players to get acclimated to wearing one that haven't been. And I wonder how many players are like, oh, it's not that bad and continue to do so after this. Like, here's hoping. I think if there's anything that can protect your neck, and I'm very like when I see goaltenders without it, especially, I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I know everyone's like resistant to change, and I think too like the technology's not perfect. So I hope even I'd like to see more players kind of like take it upon themselves to like if they wear it to be like, okay, here's how I'd improve it. Like go to the companies and or start
Right.
your own lines. We've seen that before too of different ways to do it, or go to the league and be like, hey, this would be a lot easier if, like you said, how Yanni Gord had to like personalize it. I'd like to see more players kind of take it upon themselves. And I wonder if some young players make the Olympic team, if they'd be
Mm.
more emboldened to do that than some of the veterans because they're the ones who should be playing for the next 10, 15 years. And I feel like it's a different vibe personality wise already with some of these players.
I'm not ready to enter into that narrative yet. We have to get much closer to the roster selection for me to enter into the young players making the Olympics narrative. Too many people are talking about it.
Oh, I'm joining that discourse.
I have no doubt that you are.
I may or may not be writing about that literally when we finish this today.
Well, great. Then we can talk about it next week, but
Yeah.
not today. All right. One more bit o news. And speaking of players who have their own clothing line, PJ Oshie had a rough go on the broadcast last week, where he could not say Shakir Mukhamadulin's name, and kind of felt fine with it. And I just wanted to talk about it here and see what you guys think of it. First of all, I think it's incumbent on producers and networks to help set up broadcasters for success, particularly newer ones. Speaking as someone who had to go through that, help your people be their best on air, but also, like I was kind of just talking about with the P-dub, like there are ways to find out someone's name. There are ways to make sure you're ready, and there are ways to work around it. If you don't feel confident saying someone's name, you can say the player's number, you can say the player's position. even Matt Murray, when he played against Columbus here in Seattle, he didn't know how to say Voronkov properly. So he said, I apologize. I don't know how to say his name properly, but then described what the player did and how he played in the game. I think the players all deserve the respect to have their names said properly on TV. Do either of you have an opinion?
Yeah, I think I mean, listen, you're like, if anybody has listened to this podcast, you know I'm not always the best at pronouncing names, but like I care and I try. Sometimes I try too hard, and that's the result, the result of it. But I think what I'm learning over the years as somebody who wants to be better and wants to do better is that you apologize if you do something wrong or you like, I mean, you acknowledge maybe if especially if you're on a broadcast where he might be watching it, his family is no doubt watching it, you say, I am so sorry, I pronounced this wrong, I botched that or whatever, and then you kind of try to do it right the next time. Like nobody's perfect and you're gonna make mistakes, but it's like I think you can tell when somebody cares and when they
Yes.
don't.
Yes. Yes. Shayna,
Yeah.
do you have any thoughts?
That's just it. It's like the effort. I get
Yeah.
it. He's like green as a broadcaster, but you're not you're not doing this every night, right? Like
Yeah.
you have a schedule of these are the games you will be doing, so take the time to do it. And like it reminds me like when Natchez was traded to Colorado, like the Avs commentary team, like they were talking to him, like, how do you want your name to be said? We heard it said as Necas, and we're like, that's how you say it. And it's like, well, that's how the player says it. Like there you can do that. And sometimes, players' names get more Americanized that you don't even have to go to that like Connor Sheary, and his name was pronounced wrong for years and he was like, oh, it's Sherry.
Yeah.
People still call him Connor Sheary. Like, I
Well,
mean,
and
I just did.
Yarmelson just changed the way he prefers to have his name pronounced. Like John Forsland's the master at that. He'll be like, this player now prefers this pronunciation,
Yep.
and then he outlines the change and then he says it properly.
The
Yeah. And like,
Natchez thing is so funny. Like Rod Brindamore told me once his wife used to get so mad at him because he pronounced Natchez's name wrong. And I just think you're acknowledging like, yeah, it's a tough name to pronounce. And like you raised such a good point, Shayna, that sometimes these guys like it's a hockey culture thing. They're allowed to care that their name is being pronounced wrong, but a lot of European or maybe like different cultured, come from different nationality players, like kind of stay quiet about this when it actually matters. So I'm glad that
yeah.
they correct when they can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everyone's so like, oh, it's about the name on the front. It is. But at the end of the day, your name is your identity. It's what you have. And I
Correct.
get Mahak is not an easy name to say, right? Like it's not. And I get it. It might sound worse if you get up there and butcher it, but just being like, I'm not gonna try that. To me, that's like when you're 8 years old and reading Harry Potter and you're like,
Right.
I can't say McGonagall, so I'm gonna call her M. Like, I'm sorry, that's not what we're doing here. Like, you're a
Yeah.
professional broadcaster now. And also, a million people would kill for these jobs. I get
Right.
it. If you're a
Right.
former player, you have that shoe in that other people don't. Um, it's a privilege to get to do what we do and to have a continuation of your NHL career. It's a privilege to be a part of this game, to be a part of a national broadcast. It's a big deal. And I think you kind of have to rise to the occasion, even if it's a random throwaway game that's only available on streaming and who cares. You should care. Like
Yeah.
this is important. So I hope that's something
I mean,
everyone
you're
can
all supposed to defend each other if someone hits your teammate on the ice. Don't you want to care to say someone's name properly?
I also
yeah.
think that you see this guy's history. I'm sorry, it's one thing to be fucking a Republican. It's another thing to be in a meeting with Donald Trump and Elon Musk. So I think if you're publicly doing that, then I think we're going to be a little harder on you for something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. All right. One last bit of news that will continue to develop, but it is exciting times in the PWHL. Their season gets underway this weekend. I'm super jacked. I'm going to take a less than 24-hour trip up to Vancouver to see the inaugural Golden Eyes and Torrent game. It's going to be super, super cool. So if you're looking for hockey to watch, again, go to thepwhl.com, click schedule. You'll see the full schedule for the league and check out a game or two. We're excited to see a lot of changes in the league this year with 2 new teams, lots of new storylines. So be sure to check that out. Shayna, anything you want to say about the P-Dub? Besides
We
the
have a guest.
puppy.
Kona just came flying in.
Hi, Kona.
Look at this.
Look at that.
Kona, do you have any thoughts about the PW?
Excited.
Anything? She's pumped. She's like, I can't wait to butcher my bracket this year, predicting. Somebody has a soft spot for Toronto teams, but she says
This
she's re
year.
this year she's really into Vancouver. She really likes how they drafted. She's big on
Mm,
Canadian teams. She's the only American dog,
mm,
and she's big on Canadian teams.
Kona, you're
That's
off the
nice.
show. I made this decision. Wrong team. Just kidding.
You know,
Hey,
it's crazy. She has not made her appearance on this show in years, I feel like.
I know.
but
Kona,
here's
you're
the thing.
Honey,
back.
we love you.
Even if you like the wrong team. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Pick your teams. Anyone you guys want to cheer for, just cheer for them, root for them, support them. It's
She has
exciting.
a Sirens jersey, actually. She does. There, I do have
Well,
one
that
for
makes
all the
sense.
dogs, and I believe it fits her the best.
That makes sense. All right. With Kona in tow, let's move on to some hockey talk. You guys, this was a bizarre ass week in the league. Like crazy shit was going down. 2 days ago, the Dallas Stars and the Islanders are playing a really tight game. Mikko Rantanen goes into Romanov on the boards, clearly in distress, clearly severely injured. And I guess we learned, and Shayna, keep me honest here, that he recently has had also a previous severe shoulder injury. So we don't know status as of yet. Is that correct? But it is easy to think that these two things might be linked. But Rantanen gets, a major, and as he's going off the ice, Patrick Waugh has a goddamn meltdown, screaming at him, profanity laden. And we've always known him to be a fiery individual in this game. This is the same man who climbed up over the glass to shriek at another coach, has taken himself out of a game and stormed off the ice when he was a goaltender. But I'm going to give a stick tap to Halford and Bruff, who thought that the most impressive thing was that in the rant, he's also screaming at Ranton about what will happen with the exact date when the two teams will play in March. Like, what kind of coach knows that kind of detail in November? But a chaotic scene capped off by the Stars thinking they do tie it up in literally the final second, but that is eventually waved off for goaltender interference, and the Islanders take the game. Sara, did I watch this real time? It was insane. When did you catch up on all of this? When did you see it? And what do you make of this?
Oh, actually, in my subscriber group chat, it was a buzz
Let's
with
go.
all of this, like all of this. I don't like looking at men yelling anymore. Like, I don't like men threatening in my vicinity. I think I'm like looking at the world around me. I'm like, like this would have been funny for me 4 years ago. Now I'm like, okay, please stop. But I mean, if I'm like not being the friend who's too woke, it's funny. And I like him as a coach. And I really like standing up for your team. So yeah, good job there.
Just don't stand up for proper pronunciation. That's where we draw the
Yep.
line.
That's
Yep.
it. That's it. Can't do that.
Shayna, what did you watch this live or did you watch it after the fact?
Yeah, I had the game on and then I like went back and was rewatching it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have sound on it originally. I I don't listen, I don't like the play. I don't think it was super malicious from Rantanen.
I didn't think it was malicious.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
he got
Yeah.
tripped up. I do think,
He's a huge, massive man.
And
yeah,
he
was
doesn't
he,
do this shit. Like,
No,
yeah, do I think he could have tried to avoid contact a little bit more?
sure.
Yes, I do, but I wouldn't have had an issue if he got like a 1 game suspension, especially because it happened at the end of the game. If this was first 5 minutes of action, that would be one thing. And she has a lot of opinions about it. Um, I I don't have an issue with Patrick Roy going batshit because at the end of the day, somebody has to. Somebody has to be a representative of the New York Islanders to be like, we're not going to take this shit. And you're furious. Your player is hurt. Your player looks severely injured, who just came back to the lineup, who was injured last year too. I I think if anyone should be going you know, balls to the wall for their player, it should be the coach. I have no problem with it. I feel like of all coaches, he's super fiery. It makes a ton of sense. I don't know. I thought, and then he's, I think, going between French and English doing it. And it's ironic too. Like this is a former Avs player. Like there's that connection, but I don't know. I didn't have an issue with it at all. Do you have any thoughts? Do you have any thoughts? Because you have a lot
She's
to
dog
say.
whistling. She said, "You guys
She's
crave
like,
violence."
she's like all for it. Okay, that's what she would do. If anybody touches one of the dogs, she's the first one to dive in and be like, "This is unacceptable," and she screams at them. So this is like a very Kona coded moment that we're on board with. I'll let you free.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you can find it online. But there was no supplemental discipline. To your point, Shayna, I would have also been fine with a 1 game suspension, even though I didn't. I mean, the hit was bad. It was a massive hit, but I wasn't like, oh, that's a dirty play per se. But I would have been fine with 1 game. But there will be no supplemental discipline. And now it's actually a shame that we have to wait. What is it? Almost 4 months for the rematch between these two, because who knows what will happen then.
Yeah. Also, too, I think it's fair to say if something super malicious happens to Ranson in that matchup, I think you throw the rule book at that player too, because then
Yes.
it's like it's the intent of it all. I don't think in the moment, like Patrick was saying, it's emotional. You have your time to now settle down and not be plotting that. And if something were to happen and they slap him with a massive fine, I would be fine with it too. Right? Like, especially because fines in this league are not serious.
I literally usually have for my prep, I usually have my schedule up. I'm trying to look up actually what the let's see here, New York Islanders. This is
It
fascinating.
is the next matchup is March 26th.
Thank you.
I feel like that might actually be a really fun game to go to now.
Well, it's going to be
You should
interesting.
go.
It's going to be
Might
interesting
want to.
because the game, like, those two teams, like, where are they going to be? Right? Like,
I would imagine the Stars are competing for, top
right.
spot in the Central, and the Islanders by then, and this is not a knock at their start at all, I think will be out of the playoff picture by then because
That's what I'm saying.
I think
Exactly.
management's gonna sell. This is not
That's
the
what I'm
Lula
saying.
Morello era, so it's totally different. But like, I think the Islanders are always gonna have those identity players to do this.
True. And if they're out of it, are they more willing because they don't care if someone gets a suspension or something? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, they might be like, fuck it, why not? Like I will give the Islanders are definitely one of the more old school teams, and I think it's just the roster construction of the last like 10 years that contributed to it. But you see it like anyone touches Matthew Schaefer, they're all, even if it's guys that are not
well,
typically
that's
involved in this.
completely different.
Yeah. No, no, I'm saying like no matter what, I feel like this team's gonna defend their own
Yeah.
more than others might. That I feel like if any team is gonna be like, we're gonna have a reaction, but it's in March. It's so
Well,
far away.
and also like look at what happened to Dallas with injuries going into last year's playoffs. Like they're not going to want watch them scratch Rantanen.
I was just gonna say, could you imagine? It'll never, ever, ever, ever happen. I can't see Ranson ever accepting that. I can't see any player being like, "Yeah, scratch me for that."
Maybe they'll have him host a barbecue the day before or something just to
Oh my
tempt fate.
God.
Just kidding. Okay. On the complete other end of the spectrum of effort, the other I literally, so obviously being in Pacific time, I'm usually able to watch full hockey and like be aware of what happened before I go to bed. But I woke up the next day after this play, and this was being talked about literally in every group chat I had, and I had not seen it. But on Tuesday, the Rangers were in Vegas. And we all know that New York's captain is JT Miller, who wore a no BS shirt in training camp and was supposed to be the emotional leader of this club, was caught in the second period looking like his controller broke, just kind of drifting through the defensive zone, not fighting for puck possession. The Rangers are in a weird state. He's come out before with he and Mika have come out with quotes about being tired of this and not having answers. Sara, did you see this clip and what do you make of it?
You're tired of this? Imagine how tired we are. I don't, you're like, that clip really feels like what it's been like to watch hockey for me this season. And partially because of the hockey itself, also because it looks like an ESPN Plus lag. I'm just like, everything's lagging. The play is lagging. Everyone has exactly zero goal differential because they're all playing each other in the great big mid off of 2025. And imagine how tired we are.
Shayna?
Yeah, everything Sarah said. But to me, like JT Miller is a kind of guy that like if your team is good, he's going to be an electric, energizing part of it. If your team is bad, he will wear that too. And I feel like goes down with the ship a little bit too more. And it's like a throwback to like I think it was 2 seasons ago in Vancouver. They were all those plays. I remember in the second half of the year he like cleaned it up defensively a bit, but in the
The
first half of the year,
playoff year or no? The non-playoff. 2 years ago was the playoff year.
maybe it was the non-playoff year before that then,
Okay.
where you would see all of these situations where they were like 6-on-5 plays and it's like what is he doing out there and it's like controller off or just like drifting around and that's not it. That's not it. I don't care how bad things are. I don't care if there was nothing you could have done. Like it's a bad look, especially for someone named captain when like I get why he was named captain based on contract situations, but to me, it should have been Vincent Trocheck. And I get it. Like, if the Rangers are bad in a year, maybe when his no movement clause, I think, is up, he would be very valuable in this league. And I get that. But to me, like, he should be it. He's the true shit stirrer. And I think whatever. But no matter what, it's a bad look. It's a bad look for any player. If he was just your top six guy that, big trade addition from last year and has that reputation of it, it's going to look bad. It's even worse with the captaincy and the no bullshit of this organization.
So is how what is the fan base's reaction to this? Because I honestly haven't seen much other than the actual play.
I
And I
don't,
use the term play loosely.
yeah, I've been spending a lot less time online, so which has been really great. So I haven't seen it too much, but I think a lot of people know like this is who he is, right? Like I think you're gonna have that part of the fan base that's probably like, oh, it's no big deal, and you're just like looking to nitpick. But then again, I feel like people are probably so aggravated from the start of the season, and he hasn't been perfect. And some of that I think is due to an injury he sustained earlier in the year, and I don't think he'd be out because of Trocheck. But at the end of the day, like I'm sure people are going to be upset with this because that is the captain in an important moment. And while it was a very bad game for New York, like you don't want to be a part of the problem if you're supposed to be one of the guys to push them forward.
For sure, for sure. And that they lost that game 3-2 and will be going up against the Avs this evening as they continue their swing through the West. All right, one more topic that we wanted to talk about quickly, and I'm just going to say, if you haven't already, A, subscribe to Sara's Substack, and B, read everything she writes because it's brilliant. Just Sara, touch on the discourse, and Shayna's in your article as well, about the loser point and where we are on this and what you would recommend we do about it.
I think the large majority of the people from all over the league who responded to this were in favor of the most simple solution, which is the 3-2-1, which they do in the IIHF and the PWHL. And it's like that, it's like we're doing that in the worst way. Like just do it in the good way. So I was glad to see that's most people's thoughts. But Jeff Merrick, so
It's
I was
insane.
suggested,
This is crazy.
I need to know where he comes up with this stuff.
It's like 9 in the morning. He calls me. I'm like, hello. I didn't know what this was going to be about because I forget, and I forget. I like asked him, and he just was like, really need to do the shootouts before the games. And I was like, that's an option, that's allowed. I think that would get butts in seats, and like that's something corny that the NHL would do for that. And then you're never you already know the fate or whatever. Or like the fate of what it would be if the game goes to a tie. So you're either, I don't know, I would love that. But I think the most fascinating part of that article, Pierre fed us. Like he gave us kind of a novel, and I just love him because he's always down to talk about kind of the history of the league. He's like a good keeper of the history of the league. And Pierre, LeBrun, also McGuire in a different way, but LeBrun was saying he was at these meetings and the GMs told him that they all agreed in 2004, 2005 to never talk about this again, which is so stupid and so
it's
NHL.
So NHL. It's
they literally
so
said,
NHL.
so he's like, yeah, I don't think it's ever going to change. I think it should. But they literally all looked at themselves and said, we're never doing this again. So that's why, if people are wondering why this isn't changing or even being talked about, Pierre LeBrun said it in my article. So thank you, Pierre. And we should be talking about that more.
Shayna, I know your thoughts were shared in that, as I mentioned, but is there anything new you want to add on?
No, first of all, I want to see if you give Jeff the keys for one day,
Oh my.
what bullshit he
Please,
would
what
do.
else?
And I
What else?
We're putting Shayna in charge of the schedule. We're making Jeff Merrick commissioner. Sara, what
Yeah.
job do you want?
I'm going to be, I think I'd be a good coach.
Oh, I love that. I
Oh,
feel like
all
we've had
right.
this conversation before
Yeah.
about like
Yeah.
goalie pulling and how none of us can coach because we'd be too mean.
Yeah.
That's right. We did have that
Well, I let
conversation.
them do what they want, like
I like
to some
that.
degree.
Yeah. No, but I am all for the expansion of 3-on-3 to 10 minutes. I think
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
step one. I get it. You don't want games to be longer, but guess what? If you just get rid of the shootout and let it, like, I'm even okay if it's like you can end in a tie after 3-on-3. Like, there are, I think, different things to do. But 3-2-1, it's really not that massive of a difference. I remember like 2 years ago when the playoffs were really tight, I like went through the numbers and it was like minor changes. And I know for the November vibe check, I plan to do this because I have something on the rise of overtimes that's going to be in there. But like,
Oh, I have
it's
it tracked. You know that? You know where we are right now in overtimes?
I have it from like a couple days ago.
28.1% of games are going to extra time.
And the Pacific Division is leading the charge.
We're trailblazers,
It's
baby.
it's something, but no, like just go 3-2-1. It's such a simple solution. It's not going to make massive, massive, massive differences, but I still cannot fathom that getting past 6, 8 in the playoffs, it's one thing because you're continuing a full game, right? Like you might play 2 hockey games right there, but in the regular season, playing an extra 4 minutes of 3-on-3, which is not your standard hockey, is worth the same. I have an issue with that.
I do have this track. Do you want me just to send it to you?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take
Okay.
it. You know, I'll always take any of your amazing data.
I shared my season spreadsheet with our beloved friend of the pod, Katie Spence, the other day, and she was like, "Oh, this is a lot."
It's like
It's
it's
chaos and it's our
yeah.
chaos.
Yeah,
All right.
Prashant has been giving me all of his data because he can just pull. I say something, he's like, "Yeah, hold on, I have a code for this." Okay, sick.
I
Could
know.
never be me.
I know. All right. Well, we have certainly been on one, but that's not our fault. It's the league's fault. This is what they give us. Let's
Mhm.
wrap this episode up with everybody's favorite game, except for Stephen and John's. And that is fuck, marry, kill. All right, Sara, it is tradition that you go first. And we are going to today FMK which team should just call it a day and blow it all up early. Your options are St. Louis, Nashville, and Vancouver. The floor is yours.
So we're St. Louis, Vancouver, and Nashville.
Correct.
Okay, we're killing Vancouver. They're not in a position to blow it up. EP's playing pretty well. All you got to do is be honest about Thatcher Demko. Like get a number one goalie. Uh, Round out your team a little bit. Like it's not all in the trash. And I am going to fuck St. Louis because you just can't trust that they're bad because the last time they were this bad, they won the cup. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And then I'm going to marry Nashville because they've actually put themselves in a good position. I like their draft last year. I like kind of the assets they're collecting, and they have good trade chips where people understand where it's not working out in this situation, but these are good players. So I think they're in the best position to blow it all up.
Okay. Shayna?
I'll kill St. Louis. I don't think their roster is that fundamentally flawed, but I think they need more star power. I think they do need help. I just don't think tearing it down necessarily is the move. I think sometimes you see teams kind of like go back and forth on whether they should like retool, and then when you make that decision, generally it's too late, and then you find yourself needing that full on rebuild. So I think that there's a chance to like salvage things a little bit with that. Um, and they've done it before where they've stepped back and made it work. So I think that if they're proactive enough, they'll be fine. This is the tough one here. My logic says marry Nashville because it makes the most sense. I think that they should blow it up. And the March So contract didn't work out. The Stamkos contract didn't work out. I think that they could still get good value on Ryan O'Reilly, who I would like to see play somewhere else again because he
He's
has not
only
been
had
as.
one good year.
I think he's
Oh
so much
God.
better than he's talking about this year, though. Like I like him. I don't know. Um, Trotz has been like the most disappointing general manager to me. And I think the coaching is a big part of it. But I just think that as much as you have your three cornerstones, and I understood the idea to build around them, it just all went south. So you got to just cut your losses. It's not working. So therefore, I will fuck Vancouver. I think it would be more fun if they blew it up. The Quinn Hughes situation makes it all the more fascinating. The fact that they're talking about how rebuilds don't work and are citing the Sabres basically as the example, though, is hysterical to me because
Chicago and San Jose are right there.
yep, and
Anaheim.
we've seen teams turn it around too, like over the years. Like if you fully commit to it, right? Like the Canadians rebuilt without really calling. They were like saying it was more of a rebuild. It was a rebuild. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
and it was good. And you look at like how promising their window could be. The rebuild could work if you're smart enough to navigate it, if you're creative
Yeah.
enough, if you're willing to commit to it and not be wishy-washy on it. There's a way to sell a rebuild and make it work but you just haven't done it successfully. Like, sorry, that's on you. So while I'd love to marry them because I think it would be the most fun, my logic says just keep them at fuck.
Well, I am going to marry
I
them
knew you were going to.
because I am here for the chaos. And I like, honestly, I do like, while Nashville isn't working, like for me, you at least saw what the point was. Like it didn't work, but you like this is like coming off those trades and those moves last season simply because players couldn't get along, like is insane behavior. I get it, but it's just like when you think about it, what it really was. And now this roster does not make sense. It does not have the talent. They're also all completely broken. Like respectfully, through things that are your fault and things that aren't your fault, this is not your year. And I also love the drama. So I need it in my life. So I'm going to marry Vancouver. I'm going to kill St. Louis because, quite frankly, like so much of their actual record too is like that their goaltending has been absolutely abysmal and bad and in the basement. So, and I'm with Sara. I always think back to a player who told me that St. Louis is always built for the playoffs. Like I'm not saying they're going to do what they did a few years ago and win the cup, but they always seem to find a way to be better than the sum of their parts. And therefore, I will fuck Nashville because also it's just absolutely hilarious if the rumors are true that Trotz isn't going to make a coaching change because understandably the management would be like, well, we would still have to pay that guy and you've coached, so why don't you coach? And he doesn't want to do that anymore is just delicious, even if it's not true.
That's unbelievable.
That is not even based in any sort of actual fact. It's supposition, but it's hilarious to me.
Well, like, did you see now their owner, because the new ownership
Right.
is traveling with them now too. So it's like, that's the other, we don't really know how things are going to go. It's different. It's a different era of the Predators. We know
No
like
U2 concerts, baby.
none canceled. Maybe they should send him
People
to a concert.
forget.
Maybe they should say like, "All right, guys, you're going to a concert," and then last minute be like, "Canceled. You don't deserve it. Throw out the tickets."
Big signs, just like put the posters up and then just like plaster those canceled like stickers on top.
Give them like 2 days of being happy about it. Guys, you're going to the last Sabrina Carpenter show. Just kidding. Canceled.
All right. Well, I think that certainly does it for us today. We so appreciate all y'all joining us for this little bit of time to talk about all things hockey. If you want to engage with us outside of the pod, don't forget that you can find us online. We are at 2_much_man on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Add that to the end of the youtube.com URL. On Blue Sky, we are at 2_much_man because Blue Sky didn't allow underscores. That's silly, but we complied. Don't forget, too, that we have merch on a new site. It is toomanymen.printful.me. We've obviously had a little bit of a different month than we expected, but hopefully soon we will get to our new stuff dropping every month to bring our store back up to the robust place that it was. We have some ideas that we're excited about. And until we talk again, we ask that you please do something, no matter how big or small, to make sure that hockey truly is for everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you.
Bye.